Hey there, fellow seekers. Have you ever felt like life is just passing by? Like you're moving, but not really going anywhere? Well, you're not alone, and today, we're diving deep into one of the most overlooked truths of modern living. You know that feeling when you pause for a second and ask yourself, is this it? You've ticked the boxes: school, job, maybe even a relationship, and yet there's this lingering sense that something's missing. You scroll, you work, you sleep, and you repeat. But here's the question we're unpacking today. What if the reason we feel stuck is because we've confused movement with meaning? Let's talk about the illusion of progress, the trap of productivity, and how ancient philosophy might just hold the key to freedom in the age of constant motion. We live in an era obsessed with optimization. Wake up at 5 a.m., meditate, do your skincare, hustle, post, scroll, repeat. Apps track our steps, our sleep, even our attention span. And yet, mental health is declining, burnout is normalized, and silence feels unbearable. Philosopher Alan Watts once said, "We're so busy watching the clock that we forget time is actually life passing us by." We think productivity is progress. But is it? Imagine running on a treadmill. You're sweating, you're working, but you're not really going anywhere. That's modern life in a nutshell. We're moving, yes, but movement isn't the same as meaning. Thousands of years ago, the Stoics were already onto this. Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor and part-time philosopher, yes, really, wrote in his journal, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Seneca, another Stoic, gave a warning. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to wasting time, they are most extravagant. What they're saying is, we don't lack time, we just lack intention. These weren't monks sitting in caves. These were leaders, advisors, warriors. They understood how easily life slips through your fingers when you're too distracted to notice. They didn't chase every opportunity. They asked, "Does this align with who I want to become?" Can we say the same? Let's bring this back to us. You watching this video right now, ask yourself, what are you giving your time to? Are your actions aligned with your values, or are they just habits? When's the last time you sat in silence without reaching for your phone? Now, this isn't about guilt, it's about awareness. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But what if our lives are too loud to examine? We scroll to avoid thinking. We binge to avoid feeling. But beneath that noise is a self waiting to be heard. And no, the solution isn't deleting all your apps and moving to the mountains. It starts smaller than that. A pause, a breath, a single question. Why am I doing what I'm doing? There's a reason so many great thinkers loved solitude. Nietzsche walked for hours in silence. Thoreau escaped to the woods. Buddha sat beneath a tree and found awakening. Stillness isn't laziness, it's clarity. It's where you hear the voice behind all the noise. It's where life becomes less about speed and more about direction. You don't need a 10-step plan. You need presence. One mindful moment is worth more than 100 distracted days. So, maybe the real question isn't whether we've lived our lives wrong, but whether we've lived them unseen by ourselves, buried under to-do lists, consumed by noise, drifting through routines that keep us comfortably distracted. We chase meaning like it's out there somewhere, in achievements, in possessions, in validation. But what if meaning doesn't come after success, after clarity, or after certainty? What if it starts right here, in the uncomfortable silence, in the honest question, in the still, slow noticing of your own existence? You don't have to burn everything down. You don't have to abandon your life and start over. But you can begin to see it differently. You can choose to pause, to ask, whose voice am I really listening to? Who am I when I'm not performing for the world? Most people spend their lives running from these questions. Not because they're too hard, but because they're too honest. And yet, that honesty, that deep, soul-level discomfort, it's not your enemy. It's your invitation to wake up, to live awake, to live deliberately, not perfectly, not with all the answers, but with your eyes open. Because maybe the most radical thing you can do in a world built on distraction is simply to pay attention to your thoughts, to your breath, to the life unfolding quietly, constantly, underneath it all. You haven't missed it. You're not too late. You're just now beginning to see, and maybe that's exactly where you were meant to start.
If this made you pause, if you're drawn to deeper truths and quiet strength, then you're in the right place. Like, subscribe, and keep exploring with us. See you in the next one.